This podcast is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. Learn more at listenfrederick.com.
Discussions in this show should not be construed as specific recommendations or investment advice. Always consult your investment professional before making important investment decisions. Securities offered through Cambridge Investment Research, Inc., a registered broker-dealer member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor, Hummingbird Wealth Management, LLC, and Cambridge are not affiliated. Now sit back and relax and enjoy another episode of Be the Hummingbird. Here's your host, Laura Johnson.
Hey there, and welcome to the latest edition of Be the Hummingbird, where we strive to inspire, motivate, and educate. So what are we inspiring you and motivating you and educating you to do? Well, to be quite honest with you, whatever you need to do. You know, I am a financial planner. I own a financial planning firm locally here in Walkersville, Maryland, and some of the things are going to be about financial planning, obviously, but it's really about life. You know, I'm going to bring to this podcast some of my personal journey. I'll bring on some guest speakers and their personal journeys and experiences in an effort to inspire you to do something different or inspire you to continue to doing what you're doing, but educate you on what all the options and different variables are and maybe motivate you to just kind of take that next step. So, what is today's topic? Well, I'm going to just start with, here's a wild thought. We are halfway through the year. I know. Can you believe it? We are already 6 months into the year. Gone by a little bit fast, hasn't it? And I've got one question for you. Is your money doing what you wanted it to do this year? So today we're going to do a full mid-year money checkup. We're talking taxes, investments, and goals. Because if you make a few smart moves right now, you're going to be way ahead of the game in December. I'd like you to think about a mid-year review like a wellness check, but for your wallet. You wouldn't go a full year without checking in on your health, right? Now, I'm going to laugh there. You know, some of us would. Some of us are like, yeah, I'm going to avoid the doctor like a plague. But what happens when we avoid the doctor like the plague? We get the plague. You know, so we want to make sure that we're checking in on our health and we want to be checking in on our finances. So why would you want to wait until December to realize that you've missed out on whatever goal you're having, your savings goal, your debt management goal, whatever it may be, or find out in December you owe way more in taxes than you ever expected? So this is your chance to catch financial leaks, reset your goals, and avoid that end of the year, where the heck did my money go panic. Plus, financial planning isn't just a set it and forget it one-time thing. It's a living, breathing thing. It's just like your lifestyle. So let's start with your goals. Remember those shiny resolutions that you had in January? Well, it's time to dust them off. So you need to ask yourself, what goals did I set this year? Which ones am I rushing? And which ones have, wandered off? So there's no shame, just honesty at this point. So you want to try this framework, and this can be used in all aspects of your life. Start, stop, and continue. So what should I start doing? Maybe you should start saving for that trip you know you're going to go on in October or in 2026. What should I stop doing? So I'm going to throw something under the bus here. We have some impulse Amazon buyers out there, or some kind of impulse thing that you do that maybe you could just stop doing. And what should I continue to doing? And this is where you're going to pat yourself on the back and applaud what it is that you've done. Like maybe you've set up an automatic savings, or maybe you've set up automatic debt reduction. So you also want to, at this point, break your bigger annual goals, if you haven't already, into 90-day goals. You've got 2 more 90-day windows left this year. So we want to make sure that you use them appropriately. So next up is everyone's favorite topic, taxes. Now, I know it's not April, okay? Hear me out. We just filed taxes in April. Here we said it's June. It's the middle of the year. And honestly, this is the best time to make tax moves that can actually make a difference. So here's what you need to check. Have you gotten married, divorced, had a baby, switched jobs? You may need to switch up or adjust your withholdings. And there is actually a really cool online tool on the IRS website. I know, go figure. The IRS actually has a decent tool on their website to to be able to help you out with your withholdings. So do you have a side hustle or some kind of freelance work that you're doing? You want to make sure that you're setting aside enough money for estimated taxes. Trust me, your future you will enjoy that surprise if you've already paid the taxes, but they will enjoy that surprise if you haven't paid those taxes. Next, you want to make sure, are you maximizing all of your tax advantaged accounts? So if you have a 401k, are you making contributions? Are you on track with your goals? If you have a health savings account because you have a high deductible health plan, are you maximizing those as well? And do you have a traditional or a Roth IRA? And are you contributing? Because there is still time to contribute that, not only before the year end, but by April 15th of the following year. So next year you could do that as well. So you want to boost your deductions. So everybody knows that I'm a huge believer in charities. I'm actively involved with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital on a nationwide level, but on a local level, I'm a huge supporter of Second Chances Garage. And so whatever your charity is, start planning charitable contributions now. Don't wait till the end of the year going, oh my God, I got to make these charitable contributions to get a tax benefit. Trust me, that charity that you're wanting to help will be much happier if they're getting your money now than if they get your money later, because it's going to help that charity out right now. So now let's talk about your investments. So mid-year is a great time to rebalance your portfolio. And this is where I suggest, if you're not real comfortable with working in investments, find someone you are comfortable working with. That's an investment advisor, certified financial planner, if that's your desire to work with somebody like that you trust. Most of us out here in the field have years of experience. We have the education, we have the licenses, we have the knowledge. The difference is, do you connect with that person? But that person is going to help to make sure that your investments are on track and are rebalancing at an appropriate time for you. But if you're managing your own investments, middle of the year is a good time to review it and make sure that if your stocks have been up and down and your target allocation possibly is out of whack, that's a good time to reallocate. So you need to ask yourself, am I still invested in a way that matches what my goals are, what my time frame is, and what my risk for tolerance is? Am I over or underexposed in any given sector? So am I exposed in technology and underexposed in real estate? And what do I need to do to get that back out of whack and into balance? And have I been consistent with my automated investing? Automated investing is that monthly contribution or weekly contribution into your investment plan. And it's so beneficial because over the long term, it gets you the best average of the prices in the stock market. And hey, speaking of the stock market, right now the markets have been fluctuating recently, but if you're listening to this podcast sometime in the future and markets are down, think of it as a sale on stocks. Long-term investors know that you make your money by staying in, not timing out. And just make sure you're diversified and not chasing the shiny objects. And what I mean by that is make sure you're not chasing last year's best performer, because it could be this year's worst performer. So we're going to finish this podcast up strong with your budget and lifestyle. You know how that $12 streaming service turned into a $90 a month entertainment habit? Or, I'm really guilty of this one, your occasional DoorDash became 3 times a week? Yeah, I'm really bad at meal planning. I gotta be honest with you. So I could show up in the office, I'm like, dag nabbit, I don't have lunch. So, or whatever I'm feeling that day. So it's really time to go back and look at your budget, look at your spending. And the best way to do this is to audit your bank statements for the last, honestly, 90 days, if you can do it for the last 6 months. But if you're doing it every 90 days, I think that's really good. And what you're looking for, honestly, are just leaks, things that you're spending your money on that aren't completely necessary. So things like subscriptions or delivery of food or random runs to Target. And you want to make sure that you adjust your budget to reflect your real life, not the one that you dream of on your Pinterest board, okay? This is also the perfect time to start some kind of challenge for yourself. So it is summer, so we'll call it a summer savings challenge. Whether it's a no-spend weekend or maybe saving all of your $5 bills, or this is a real good one for some of you out there. I know a lot of my clients would love this one. is matching every Amazon purchase you make with a transfer to your savings account. Imagine how many thousands of dollars you could have in your savings account by the end of the summer. Whatever challenge you choose for yourself, make sure to make it fun. All right, so here's your mid-year money checklist. Try to do what I'm about to give you in under 30 minutes. It really shouldn't take you that long. Number one, review your goals for 2025. Are they realistic still at this point? Number two is check your tax withholdings on your paycheck and what you're contributing, whether it be to your 401k or your Roth IRA or whatever it might be. Rebalance your investments if needed. And if you're listening to this in the year in which I've made it, yes, it's probably needed. Audit your budget. Really look at where you're spending money and plug up those spending leaks. And then set yourself a new goal, a new money goal for the next 90 days. That's how you take back control of the second half of your year. Whether you're killing it or catching up, the key is not waiting until it's too late. Small, consistent action will make the December you a lot happier and possibly a lot richer. So, thank you for listening to Be the Hummingbird. I'm your host, Laura Johnson. This podcast has been presented by Listen Frederick. And as always, it's not goodbye, it's see you later.
Live radio, local podcasts, the Frederick Podcast Network at listenfrederick.com.